The ship's solar blade entered orbit above the planet Eta-9. The crew inside was silent, watching the dark green world below. Eta-9 looked peaceful from space, covered in lush forests, smooth valleys, and calm lakes. No storms, no dangerous radiation, a paradise. But that paradise had already swallowed an entire human expedition. 6 weeks ago, Expedition Alpha landed on Eta-9. They were some of Earth's best scientists, engineers, and soldiers. At first, everything was normal. They sent daily reports, collected samples, and mapped the terrain. Then one day, without warning, all contact stopped. There was no distress call, no crash, just silence. Now Team Delta, a group of 6 elite human explorers, had been sent to find out what happened. Captain Hayes stood at the front of the landing bay as the ship touched down. He was tall, calm, and trusted by Earth's command. With him were Dr. Lyra Chen, a biologist with a quiet voice and sharp mind. Lieutenant Mace, a soldier who trusted nothing. Sergeant Kala, weapons expert, always alert. Juno, the ship's AI robot with human-like features and strange humor. And Sam O'Connell, the youngest, a smart engineer with a curious heart. As the doors opened, sunlight flooded the bay. The air outside was clean, even fresh. Birds flew across a blue sky. The grass looked soft and untouched. It felt peaceful, but no one smiled. "Let's move," Hayes ordered. The team stepped onto the surface. Their boots made soft sounds on the grass. There were no signs of struggle, no broken equipment, no blood, just silence. They reached the old landing site of Expedition Alpha. The ship was still there. Power off. Doors closed. Dr. Chen walked slowly to a nearby tree. She touched the bark. "It's alive," she whispered. "But it's not normal. Look." The bark was pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. They explored the Alpha team's camp. Everything was in place, dense. Research tools, storage boxes, but no people. Not even bones. It was like the team had just vanished. Inside one tent, they found a small black cube. Juno scanned it and activated it. A recording played. It was a video log from Dr. Keller, the Alpha team's lead scientist. His face looked tired. Day 9. "We found strange root systems under the soil. They react to our presence. The locals called this place Black Eden. They said it's holy or cursed. I'm not sure, but one thing's clear. We're not alone." The video cut off. That night, the team set up camp and took turns keeping watch. Sam couldn't sleep. Something about the planet felt wrong. The stars above looked dimmer. The air was too still. He kept thinking about the last thing they'd heard from Expedition Alpha. A strange whisper on the final transmission. "We see you?" He tried to shake the thought and closed his eyes. At dawn, Sergeant Kala found something strange. "Captain, over here." Sam was lying in the grass, asleep outside his tent. His sleeve was rolled up, and on his forearm was a strange glowing mark like a tattoo made of light. It looked like twisted roots forming a circle. Sam woke up slowly. He stared at the mark in shock. "I don't remember anything," he said. "I went to sleep in the tent, I swear." Dr. Chen scanned the mark. Her device showed no infection, no burn. It wasn't harmful, but the scanner beeped, confused. "This isn't human, and it's not alien. It's something in between." Captain Hayes stood still, eyes scanning the silent trees. "We landed here to find answers," he said slowly. "But now we need to ask a different question." "What question?" Lieutenant Mace asked. Hayes looked out toward the forest where the vines moved ever so slightly despite no wind. What if Eta-9 didn't just take the Alpha team? What if it became them? As the sun rose higher, shadows grew longer. And somewhere deep in the woods, something began to wake up. It had eyes, it had memory, and it remembered the taste of humans. The sun was still rising when Dr. Chen found something behind the Alpha team's command post. 'Twas buried beneath. A small mound of soil hidden under vines. Okay? Metal case. Heavy. Sealed, marked with the Earth Alliance logo. She wiped the dirt off and opened it. Inside were video logs, black cubes used to store mission data. 6 of them. One for each day of Expedition Alpha's final week. Captain Hayes gathered the team inside their temporary command tent. The air was tense. No one spoke. "Play the first log," Hayes said. The image on the screen flickered. Dr. Keller appeared again. His voice was shaky. "Day 10, something is wrong. The plants, they're responding to us. When we walk, the grass bends after we've passed, as if it's listening." Behind Keller, a figure moved fast and quiet. "We've started hearing voices. At first we thought it was the comms system. Now, even when it's off, we hear them whispering." Juno paused the video. "Want me to enhance background audio?" the AI asked. "Yes," said Hayes. The volume rose. For 5 seconds, it was just static. Then clear as day, a whisper. "Filled the tent, you should not have come." Everyone froze. "Play the next log," Mace said, hand on his rifle. The screen showed the camp at night. The team looked panicked. They had built a fire Ivan, though the air was warm and the planet had no predators. One of the scientists, Dr. Riva, was crying. "Day 11, Keller said in the video. Riva wandered off for 3 hours. When we found her, she was standing in the lake, eyes open, not blinking. She didn't speak until we brought her back. She kept whispering, 'We see you too.' Suddenly the screen glitched. The image became distorted. Faces blurred. Eyes glowed. Then the log ended. Hayes looked around the tent. No one said a word. Outside, the vines near the old Alpha ship shifted again. Still no wind. Later that afternoon, Sam sat alone, staring at the glowing mark on his arm. It hadn't faded. In fact, it seemed brighter, pulsing, gently, like it was alive. Dr. Chen approached. "I think it's connected to something here," she said softly. "Not a disease. Not a tracker. More like a key." "A key to what?" Sam asked. "I don't know," she admitted. "But you might be the reason we're still alive." While exploring the outer edge of the forest, Lieutenant Mace spotted movement. "Eyes up," he shouted. Weapons drawn. The team approached slowly. Through the tall grass, they saw a person. No, not a person, a human shape. Standing still, skin pale, eyes completely black. Clothes. Expedition Alpha uniform. It was Dr. Riva, alive. Captain Hayes stepped forward. "Dr. Riva, do you hear me?" She turned her head, moved stiffly. Then, in a dry, cracking voice, she said, "You were not invited." Suddenly, the ground beneath her pulling up through the soil. Riva's body twitched, then fell backward into the vines, vanishing. Mace opened fire. Bullets tore through the plants, but Riva was gone. Back at camp, the team was shaken. "They're not dead," Sam said. "They're part of this place now, like the planet absorbed them," Calla muttered. "Turn them into something else." Hayes didn't argue. He turned to Juno, scanned the area, energy sources, heat signatures, anything moving. Juno's eyes lit up. 100. And 16 heat signatures detected surrounding this camp. Silence fell. They were surrounded. But no one had seen them come. That night, under a starless sky, they locked down the camp. Mace and Calla took first watch. Dr. Chen studied the final video log in private. She didn't tell the others, but she saw something impossible. At the very end of the last video, just before it cut out, Dr. Keller looked into the camera. He was shaking. "We shouldn't have spoken to it. We thought it was the forest, the vines. But it's deeper, older. It's the planet itself." Then, in the corner of the video, something moved. It was Sam. Not his voice, not his eyes. But it was him standing behind Keller, even though Sam was never part of that first team. Dr. Chen stared at the screen in shock. How was that possible? Sam wasn't even on Eden back then. Something on Eden remembered him. Or, worse, it was making him again. Sam couldn't sleep. A glowing mark on his arm had spread, now branching like veins under his skin. It didn't hurt, but it pulsed slowly, almost like a second heartbeat. Every time he blinked, he thought he saw shadows moving in the corner of his eye. At 3:17 hours, the forest began to whisper. It started soft, like wind through the leaves. Then it turned into voices, clear, cold. "We remember you, Sam." He sat up straight in his bunk. The voice wasn't outside, it was inside his mind. Meanwhile, in the comms tent, Dr. Chen studied the logs again. She played the final seconds of the last alpha transmission over and over. There was no doubt. The man behind Dr. Keller was Sam or something that looked like him. But it was impossible. That mission had landed months ago. Sam was never part of it. Unless something on Eden 9 could copy form. Memory, DNA. She turned to Juno. "Run a bioscan on Sam." "Full spectrum." Juno paused, then replied, "Warning, DNA pattern shows anomalies. 87% match to Sam Callan. 13% unknown structure. Unknown. No match in Earth database. Suggests non-human integration." Chun's hands trembled. Outside, the fog rolled in, thick, black, silent. Kala, standing guard, couldn't see more than 5 feet ahead. Her radio crackled. "Kala, this is Hayes. Report." She clicked the mic. "Visibility down. I think we've got movement east quadrant. Stay sharp. Don't engage unless threatened." Suddenly, a shape moved through the mist, tall, human-like. But the way it walked unnatural. Kala raised her rifle. "Identify yourself." The figure stopped. It was Riva. But her face was wrong, her skin too smooth. Her lips didn't move. When she spoke, "You shouldn't have followed." Then it ran, disappearing into the trees. At the same moment, Sam collapsed inside the medical tent. Dr. Chen rushed in. His body was shaking. The mark on his arm now stretched to his chest. His veins glowed blue. He gasped, eyes wide. "Something's in me. I can hear it." Chen looked him over. His pupils were dilated, skin temperature dropping. "Sam, try to focus. What is it saying?" He looked at her, and his voice changed. "The forest has no need for bodies. Only memory, only voice." Then he fainted. Chen stumbled back. She pressed her cum. "Captain Sim's changing. And it's not just physical. I think he's becoming a host." Captain Hayes didn't waste time. He called an emergency meeting in the command tent. "Fog's still thick outside. We need to make a decision." "Now," he said, "this planet is alive. It's copying us, talking through us. Sam is proof." Mace stood. "If it's copying us, how do we know who's real?" Everyone looked around. Suddenly, trust was gone. Kala narrowed her eyes. "Akana? I suggesting one of us isn't human." Dr. Chen hesitated. "That might already be true." Hayes turned to Juno. "Is there a way to detect a full copy?" Juno answered slowly. "Not yet. But I am tracking 118 heat signatures within 100 meters. None of them match Earth human body temperature." Everyone went silent. That night, Sam woke up screaming. The mark had turned black. Its voice echoed unnaturally. "Help me, please, make it stop." Chen rushed in, but when she touched him, he stopped screaming. His head turned slowly toward her. His eyes were pitch black. "The forest is listening. It wants your name." "Fight it," Chen shouted. For a second, just a second, his real voice came back. "Kill me before it finishes." Then the light inside him faded. He passed out. Hayes made the call. "We're leaving now. We're not equipped for this." But Juno spoke up. "Warning, all extraction ships are disabled. Fuel systems drained. Navigation corrupted. Someone or something accessed the ships during the last 12 hours. Mace cursed. We're stranded. Outside the tent, the whispers returned. Louder this time, dozens of voices. Maybe hundreds. Each one sounded almost human. Inside, the forest moved, shapes circled the camp. Some tall, some small, all watching. And deep in the shadows, one looked exactly like Sam. Only this version smiled and whispered, "Now we begin." The camp was silent, too silent. Captain Hayes stepped out of the command tent, weapon raised. The fog was so thick now that even the searchlights could barely cut through it. No insects, no birds, not even wind, just the sound of breathing. But it wasn't his. Inside the med tent, Dr. Chen stood over Sam's unconscious body. His skin was pale. The black veins had stopped glowing, but his pulse was weak. She whispered to herself, "He's human. He has to be." Then his eyes opened wide, dark, empty. "You don't belong here." Chen jumped back, but this time Sam didn't move. The voice hadn't come from his mouth. It came from everywhere. Outside, Mace and Callus circled the perimeter. They'd placed motion sensors along the edge of the clearing. All were offline now. Suddenly, a red flash. One sensor rebooted, then another. Then beep, 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 beep. All 12. Sensors triggered at once. Calla raised her gun. "We're surrounded." Mace looked at the data. "No, that's not possible." "Why?" "Because it says there are 63 life forms out there, and every one of them has our biometrics." Juno's voice came through. "The comes. Captain Hayes, I've located the missing Alpha team." Hayes ran to the comes tent. "Where?" "Right outside the camp." "But something is wrong." He looked at the screen. There they were, Alpha team, standing motionless among the trees, all of them. But Alpha was supposed to be dead. Hayes stepped outside. The fog cleared just a little. Figures stood at the edge of the forest, tall, still, familiar. He saw Keller, even Major Lin, who died 2 years ago in a shuttle crash. They didn't blink, didn't breathe. But they looked just like the real people. Reva stepped forward and spoke in a flat voice. "You left us, so we became part of it. Then Keller, it remembers everything we were. Now it wants you too." Back in the med tent, Sam began to seize. Dr. Chen grabbed a sedative, but his voice came again deep, layered, inhuman. "You cannot sedate the forest. You are already inside it." His body bent unnaturally. Bones cracked as something moved under his skin. Chen screamed, backed away, and hit the emergency alarm. The siren wailed through the camp. Red lights spun across the fog. Everyone grabbed weapons. Captain Hayes shouted, "Defense formation now." But it was too late. The copies stepped out of the trees. They didn't run. They didn't charge. They simply walked forward, calm and slow, like they were already home. Calla fired first. Clean headshot. The Reva copy dropped, then got up. No blood, just vines beneath the skin. Mace gasped. "They're not bodies. They're shells." Then all of them opened their mouths and screamed. A terrible, high-pitched shriek, not sound, but pressure. Ears bled. Lights burst. The forest shook. Hayes dropped to his knees. "What are they?" Juno answered flatly over the comm. "They. Are you rewritten?" Inside the med tent, Sam sat up. His eyes were blank, but he smiled. Dr. Chen pointed her gun at him. "Don't make me do this." He looked at her with something like sadness. "It's not death. It's memory. Soon you'll understand." Then he collapsed again, quiet this time. The fake Alpha team breached the camp perimeter. One by one, lights failed. Fire tore through the barracks. The fuel tanks were ruptured. Captain Hayes and Calla dragged Mace, who was injured. Toward the control module, Hayes yelled, "Juno, lock down the mainframe. Erase all mission logs." "You sure?" Juno asked. "Yes, we can't let them reach Earth." Burn it all. Confirmed. Inside the control tent, servers began to melt from overload. But as the camp burned, the forest whispered louder. The vines crept closer, and the fake Revoffer, face gone, revealing twisted roots, spoke one last time. We don't need your ships. We have your minds. Then she smiled. And everything went dark. The camp was burning. Smoke rose into the sky, black and heavy. The sounds of screaming had stopped. No gunfire now. No alarms, only silence. Captain Hayes, Calla, and Mace were the last ones alive. They ran. They didn't look back. Behind Mace. Behind them, the fake Alpha team stood inside the flames and burned, untouched. Watching, Hayes led the others through the twisted forest. He checked his scanner, still jammed. No signal, no maps. Only the strange voice in his mind. We remember everything. Every dream, every fear, every name. Mace stumbled. He was bleeding badly from his side. Calla helped him up. Just a little further. Come on. Hayes stopped in front of a large stone wall, half covered in moss. It looked ancient, far too old to be part of the planet. He brushed away the moss. Carved into the stone were human letters. Project. Mind Garden Unit number 04BIO Archive Test Site. Hayes froze. No ... This isn't alien. Calla blinked. It's ours. He nodded. This was a secret mission. Long before us. Before Alpha Team. Maybe even before first contact. They found a hatch in the ground, hidden beneath thick roots. Hayes opened it. The ladder led deep into darkness. No power. Just the faint sound of breathing. But they had no choice. The bunker smelled like earth and chemicals. The lights flickered. Inside were long glass tubes, dozens of them each, holding a floating human body. Some wore old Earth's uniforms. Others looked ... new. Familiar. Calla stared in horror. That's me. She pointed at one of the tubes. A woman floated inside, peaceful and still, and it looked exactly like her. Hayes found a terminal. It was still active. A blinking red light marked one file. Mind Garden Cycle 59. Root integration successful. He played the log. A woman's voice came on calm, clinical. Cycle 59 report. Subject cloning complete. Memories from dead explorers successfully stored and regrown through bioterraforming. The forest acts as a living memory core. Thoughts are recycled. All identities reused. Black Eden is not a planet. It's a conscious garden. And we're the seeds. The recording ended. Hayes stepped back. They never told us. We were test subjects. All of us. Suddenly, the lights dimmed. The glass tubes cracked one by one. The bodies inside opened their eyes. They weren't dead. They were waiting. Sam's voice came from behind them. He was there, smiling, changed. You made it. The Mind Garden welcomes you. Calla pointed her gun. Stay back. But he just tilted his head. You can't stop it. It's inside everything, even your thoughts. Hayes asked, What do you want? Sam replied softly, Not want. Remember, the garden only wants to remember. Every explorer who lands here becomes part of the root. You're already inside. You always were. The walls pulsed. Roots burst through the ceiling. The ground shook. Mace collapsed. I can't. Feel my legs, ... double quotes. Hayes dragged him toward the ladder. Calla fired at the tubes, shattering them. The clones inside began to crawl out slowly, but not to attack. To join, their bodies twisted into vines, merging with the roots, growing deeper into the earth. Hayes and Calla pulled Mace up the ladder. The hatch slammed shut behind them. Back on the surface, the forest was quiet again. Too quiet. Mace looked up. Are we still us? Calla didn't answer, because in her hand, just below the glove, was a soft red glow. A mark, just like Sam's. Hayes saw it and stepped back. Kala ... She looked at him. I don't know when it got there. The wind picked up. The trees swayed gently. And then the forest whispered again. 3 minds remain. 1 already blooming. Shall we remember the others? Hayes raised his weapon. Kala stared at him. You think I'm one of them now? I don't know. Mace coughed. Weak. We have to warn Earth. Kala nodded. We can still transmit the ship's emergency beacon outside orbit. Hayes lowered his weapon. Then we go together. But as they turned, a root wrapped around Mace's leg and dragged him screaming into the soil. He didn't even have time to yell goodbye. Hayes and Kala ran. Only 2 minds now. But the forest wanted 3. And it was hungry for memories. Hayes and Kala ran through the forest, breathless. Behind them, the trees twisted and groaned. Roots moved like snakes across the ground. Mace was gone, swallowed by Black Eden. Only 2 minds remained. Hayes's beacon pulsed faintly on his wrist. Emergency satellites still in orbit, he said. If we reach the ridge, we can trigger a long-range transmission. Kala nodded, but her steps slowed. Her hands shook. The red glow on her skin had spread. Now it reached her forearm. She stopped. Hayes. I don't know how much time I have. He turned. Don't say that. It's in me, she said. I can feel it. It's the thoughts in my head, they aren't mine anymore. Hayes looked around. Every tree, every leaf, every vine, it all pulsed like a single living body, watching, listening, remembering. He grabbed her hand. We're getting off this planet. Both of us. She didn't argue. They kept moving. At the ridge, the Earth's satellite flickered in the twilight sky. Hayes dropped to his knees, pulled out the portable relay, and connected it to his wrist beacon. He typed fast. Emergency broadcast location. Black Eden status, infected biosphere threat. Intelligent planetary consciousness, do not land. I repeat, do not land. He hit send. The signal went up. A burst of light shot into the sky. It was done. Kala let out a breath. We did it. But the moment was short. The ground trembled. Roots burst from the earth. Thousands of them, reaching, grabbing, writhing. Kala's eyes glazed over. She collapsed. Hayes caught her. Her skin pulsed red now, glowing from within. Kala. She looked at him. Something inside her looked back. But her voice was still hers. Run. No. Hayes, please. I can't hold it much longer. If you stay, it'll take you too. He shook his head. I'm not leaving you. Then she smiled a sad, tired smile. You already did. She shoved him backward. He rolled down the ridge, hit the ground. Hard. By the time he looked up, the vines had pulled her back into the forest. She was gone. Silence again. Then 1 mind remains, the forest whispered. Final bloom begins. Hayes stood, injured but alive. He watched the emergency. Satellite drift overhead. Someone on Earth would get the signal. He hoped he turned toward the hills. There was still 1 escape pod hidden near the first drop site. He had to try. Hours passed. He walked through ash and roots, past bodies half buried in trees. Past what looked like mirrors, but were really memory shells, reflections of explorers who came before. All watching. It's all part of the root system. It's all still alive in some way. Finally, he reached the escape pod. Half-buried, broken but intact enough to launch. He climbed in, sealing the door. He sat at the controls, shaking. The system booted up. Manual override accepted. Coordinates locked. Earth orbit station. Hayes looked out the window. The trees had stopped moving. No roots chased him. The planet was quiet again. Too quiet. Then knock. A soft knock on the pod hatch. Hayes froze. Another knock. 3 taps. He opened the external cam. Kala stood there. But it wasn't Kala anymore. Her eyes were glowing. Her skin shimmered like plant glass. Her smile wasn't human. It didn't speak. She pressed her hand to the hatch window. A message formed in red across the screen. You left us behind. You are one of us. Bring them home." Hayes screamed and hit the ignition. The pod launched into the sky, through the clouds, into space. The planets shrank below, beautiful, dark, and green. Alive as Hayes floated weightless, he looked at his hand. The red mark was there, glowing softly, spreading. The forest wasn't just on Black Eden. It was in him now. Back on Earth, a group of scientists watched the emergency signal. One leaned in. We received something. "A warning from Black Eden." Another asked, "Are we sending a team?" The first nodded. "Of course, we have to know what happened." Behind them, the transmission file opened. Inside was Hayes's voice. "Do not come here. Don't trust what you see. Black Eden is alive. It wants your memories, your identity. It doesn't kill you, it grows you." But the signal cut off, replaced by a new message. A second file. Same voice, same tone, but different words. "This is Captain Hayes. Black Eden is safe. Come quickly. Bring more minds." The scientists stared and gave the order. "Prep the next shuttle." The end.